Hello and welcome. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer, a seasoned investor, or just curious about how real estate works, you've taken the first step toward understanding one of the most important investments you'll ever make. I'm Ann Mowbray, and I help people turn real estate dreams into reality. Over the years, I've guided countless clients through the exciting and sometimes confusing journey of property ownership. My passion is making sure you feel supported and informed every step of the way. The legal side of buying property can be overwhelming. Terms like fee simple, life estate, and joint tenancy get tossed around, and it's easy to feel lost in a sea of paperwork and legalese. Even experienced buyers can find themselves scratching their heads at all the fine print. My job is to make sure you understand exactly what you're buying. I break down complex concepts into simple, everyday language so you can make confident decisions about your future home or investment. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on property ownership in Canada. Whether you're looking at a cozy condo in Toronto, a family home in Vancouver, or a starter house in Edmonton, the rules and rights of ownership are the foundation of your real estate journey. This isn't about memorizing legal jargon, it's about empowering you with knowledge. When you understand the basics, you can ask the right questions, avoid costly mistakes, and truly take charge of your investment. When you sign those papers, you should feel confident and in control, not anxious or uncertain. My goal is to help you reach that point so you can celebrate your new home with peace of mind. We'll walk through the main ways you can own property, from the most common forms like fee simple to more specific arrangements such as leasehold or co-ownership. Each type comes with its own set of rights and responsibilities, and knowing the difference can save you time, money, and stress. Imagine you're buying a home in Edmonton. What does making it yours mean legally? It's more than just moving in. It's about understanding what you truly own, what you can do with your property, and how you can protect your investment for years to come. It means you're acquiring a bundle of rights. These rights are the building blocks of ownership, and they shape your experience as a homeowner. These rights determine what you can do with your property, like painting the walls any color you want, building an addition, renting out a room, or even passing your home on to your children or grandchildren. They also define your responsibilities, such as paying property taxes and following local bylaws. Understanding this is the first step to becoming a savvy property owner. The more you know, the better prepared you'll be to make smart choices, avoid pitfalls, and maximize the value of your investment. By the end of this chapter, you'll be able to talk confidently with your lawyer, ask informed questions, and feel secure in your investment. You'll have the knowledge you need to navigate the world of real estate with clarity and confidence. Let's dive in and make sure you have the tools you need to succeed. Your journey to confident, empowered home ownership starts right here. Let's start with the big one, fee simple. If you've ever wondered what it really means to fully own a property, this is the term you need to know. Fee simple is the highest and most common form of property ownership in Canada. It's the type of ownership most people think of when they imagine buying a home and having complete control over it. When you buy a house and own it outright, without any time limits or restrictions on your ownership, that's fee simple. You're not just buying the building, you're also buying the land it sits on, and all the rights that come with it. This means you get the land, the building, and the freedom to use them as you see fit, within the boundaries of the law. You can decide where your property begins and ends, and you have the right to enjoy every inch of it. You can renovate your home, build an addition, lease it out, sell it, or even leave it to your heirs. Fee simple gives you maximum control and flexibility, making it the most desirable form of ownership for most people. Of course, there are still responsibilities. You must follow local laws, zoning regulations, and pay property taxes. But within those rules, you're in charge of your property's destiny. For example, if you buy a detached home in fee simple, you own both the house and the land it sits on. This is different from other forms of ownership like condos or leaseholds, where your rights may be limited. You can paint the walls any color you like, plant trees in your yard, build a deck, or sell the property whenever you choose. You can even pass it down to your children, creating a legacy for your family. Fee simple is often considered the gold standard for homeowners and real estate investors because it offers the most security and the greatest potential for building wealth over time. It gives you security, flexibility, and full equity in your property, allowing you to benefit from any increase in value and make decisions that suit your needs. For most buyers, fee simple is the ultimate goal, a foundation for building your future and achieving true home ownership. Now let's talk about defeasible estates. These are unique forms of property ownership that can actually be lost if certain conditions aren't met. Unlike most property ownership, where you have full control, defeasible estates come with strings attached. If you break the rules, you could lose your rights to the property, sometimes automatically and sometimes only if someone takes action. Think of it as owning a home, but with a special rule written into the deed. If you don't follow that rule, your ownership could end. These rules are legally binding and can be enforced by the original owner or their heirs. There are two main types of defeasible estates you should know about: fee simple, determinable, and fee simple subject to a condition subsequent. Each works a little differently, but both can have a big impact on your rights as a property owner. Fee simple determinable means your ownership ends automatically if a specific condition is broken. For example, imagine land donated to a city so long as it remains a public park. If the city ever stops using it as a park, the property instantly reverts to the original owner or their heirs, no court action needed. So if the city decides to build condos instead, the land doesn't belong to them anymore. It goes right back to the donor's family, even if years have passed. Fee simple subject to a condition. Subsequent is a bit different. Here, if a condition is broken, like a rule that says a building must never be painted blue, the original owner or their heirs have the right to reclaim the property, but they must take legal action to do so. The transfer isn't automatic. Someone has to step in and enforce the rule. These scenarios might sound rare, but they do happen, especially with properties donated for specific community purposes like old churches, schools, or parks. Sometimes these conditions are hidden deep in the property's history. That's why it's so important to have your lawyer carefully review all title documents and deeds before you buy. They can spot any hidden conditions or restrictions that could affect your ownership. Defeasible estates can seriously restrict what you can do with your property and may even lower its value. You might not be able to build, renovate, or use the land the way you want. Understanding defeasible estates helps protect you from unexpected surprises and ensures your dream home stays yours for years to come. Always do your homework before you buy. Next, let's look at life estates, ownership that lasts for someone's lifetime. The life tenant can live in or rent out the property but can't sell it or decide who gets it next. When the life tenant dies, the property passes to someone else as specified. The life tenant must maintain the property and can't damage its value. A common example: a parent grants a life estate to a child who lives there for life, then the property goes to the grandchildren. There's also a variation: life estate pour autre vie, measured by another person's life. These arrangements are useful for estate planning but come with strict rules. The life tenant is a steward, not a full owner. Know what you're getting if you encounter a life estate. After a life estate ends, the property goes to the remainder man, the person named to receive full ownership. The remainder man's interest is future but legally certain. For example, a mother grants a life estate to her son, with her grandchildren as remainder men. The son lives there for life. When he passes, the grandchildren become owners automatically. If no remainder man is named, the property reverts to the original owner or their estate. If you're a remainder man, you have a future asset but can't use it yet. If you're buying from a life tenant, be careful, you only get what they own. A thorough title search is essential to know who holds which rights. Understanding remainder and reversion is key for buyers and estate planners. Every property has a unique legal land description, more precise than a street address. This description is used on titles, deeds, and mortgages to define exact boundaries. In Canada, there are three main systems: meets and bounds, lot, block plan, and the township system. Meets and bounds uses landmarks and directions, common in older or irregular parcels. Lot, block, and plan is used in most urban areas, simple and clear for subdivisions. The township system divides rural land into a grid, used in Western Canada. Your lawyer uses these descriptions to ensure you get the right property. Legal descriptions are permanent and unambiguous, crucial for clear ownership. Always check the legal description before closing a deal. Beyond the estate type, how you hold title matters. Sole ownership means one person or entity owns the property, full control, full responsibility. Joint tenancy is common for couples. If one dies, the other automatically inherits the whole property. All owners must have equal shares and take title together. Tenancy in common allows unequal shares and independent control. Each owner can sell or will their share. If a tenant in common dies, their share goes to their estate, not the other owners. This is popular with business partners or investors. Condominium ownership is a hybrid. You own your unit in fee simple, but share common areas as a tenant in common. The way you hold title affects inheritance, financing, and control. Choose carefully with your lawyer's advice. Why does all this matter? Because knowledge is your best tool for protecting your investment. Understanding ownership rights is crucial for estate planning and inheritance. The way you hold title determines what happens to your biggest asset when you die. It also affects your ability to get a mortgage. Banks prefer clean, fee-simple titles. Knowing your rights helps you avoid legal pitfalls and surprises. Real estate is likely your largest financial transaction. Don't go in blind. This isn't about becoming a lawyer, it's about being a confident, capable owner. If you have questions or want to discuss your options, reach out anytime. I'm here to help you navigate your real estate journey in Edmonton and beyond. Thanks for watching. Here's to your success as a property owner.